On this episode of Punk's Talk Wrestling, we see the birth of Roman's reign as he almost single-handedly becomes the sole survivor. We got a first-time Intercontinental Championship defense by Big E Langston, and we celebrate how much better the women's division is now in literally every imaginable way from 2013. I am R.W. Hellborn, one half of your Punk's Talk Wrestling tag team hosts, hailing quote-unquote from Philly! And always virtually by my side, 3,500 miles away in London, England, he is my tag team podcast partner, the proper prick, CJ Newman!
Oh, shit. Hit the mic.
Right? That was good.
Yeah. Did you know that Randy Orton has had the most sole survivor victories at Survivor Series?
Yeah?
With not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 different sole survivor victories at Survivor Series.
Yeah? Do you want me to name them in a minute?
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, go on. Do it.
All
Just
right.
name me the years.
All right. 2012.
No.
2011.
No.
2010.
No.
29.
No.
28.
28?
28.
That's not a year.
2008.
Yeah, that's one of them.
All right, 2014.
No.
I'm just going to list them all. 2015, 16,
16.
17,
No, that's 2.
18, 19.
No. Go back.
Oh, 2006.
Yeah, no.
5, 4.
Yeah, 5 and 4, yeah.
Yay!
That's
There
4
was.
of them. There's one more.
Oh, 2006 or 2007. What did I skip?
You didn't, what? No.
Oh, I didn't go back far enough. 2002.
No, you missed one.
2003.
Yeah, you did it.
Woo! Wow.
So he was a sole survivor in 2000.
That's the first time I've ever completed that.
Probably,
and by
yeah,
just
but that
by
was
just listing
listing
off every
years.
possible
Yeah.
year.
He was actually the sole survivor 3 years in a row, which is kind of mad.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, they put a lot on Randy. Like,
so 2003, 2004, and 2005, he was sole survivor, which was drawing and parallel to Macho Man Randy Savage's record at the time.
Oh.
And since then, he's in 2008 and then 2016, he was sole survivor once again.
Randall Keith Orton.
Yeah.
With another record.
Many records.
No, yeah, that's just one of them.
Yeah, fuck knows how many. I mean, guys won it all.
There was some other record that was just was it just talked about on the pay-per-view that we're just about to review? Or did they mention some, or was it just, no, I think it was just on SmackDown. I don't know. I can't remember. There was something that they were just talking about, a record that.
What record?
Oh, I know what it was. When I was deep diving into CM Punk, Punk's Wikipedia page.
Oh, right, yeah.
Shout out to Wikipedia, support Wikipedia. They were discussing CM Punk's title reign in the pay-per-view.
Oh, they were, yeah.
He had at the time
days.
He had at the time the current longest reign of the modern era.
Yeah, it's funny how he thought that 434 days was a long WWE Championship run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was at the time.
No, it was, but now it's like literally a third of what Roman Reigns has done. Nearly a third.
Oh yeah, but I mean, at the time we hadn't seen anything
like that since Hogan.
Yeah, I think it probably was since one of Hogan's last reigns.
It was
maybe
the longest title run since Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's right. Which means.
And yet CM Punk will claim that he wasn't pushed. But, whatever, right? You know what I think we should do right now?
Do we need to get into it?
We should get comfortable. Just
comfortable?
going to sit here in my chair. Hold on, give me a sec. Just
get comfortable?
Just going to sit up.
Kick
give
your
me
feet
the
up.
microphone, like right here, square in front of my face.
Light up a good cigar.
Right.
Or whatever, or your preference of lightable things.
I'm going to turn all the lights out. I'm going to get comfortable, and I'm going to get really close to the microphone.
If you got a scotch.
So like ASMR. And then I'm going to say to you. Are we doing the ASMR episode again? Let's get into it. Yeah. I don't like hearing myself whisper in my
I know
own ears. It's fucking horrible.
It's weird, right?
It's fucking horrible. But actually, let's get into it.
You know what? That's another. I don't know if we brought it up the last time we did it. Should we do an entire? We should do an entire ASMR intro.
Oh yeah, I guess we should. Yeah, you should whisper the intro one time.
If we get one person to ask us for it, you have to.
Yeah, please.
This is what we're not gonna. We're shit at promoting, so people don't even see it, and let alone who knows who's listening this far into it.
I'm gonna put up a poll, not a poll, but a question on our Instagram stories tomorrow, because that's a good idea. We have had people interact with those, so I will do one tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. We do. I like the poll. I like the poll idea. We really need to focus on what we need to do. Is we need to decide how we want to interact with the people that we are. Like we said, we're not. This is so much for fun.
Well, I'm just gonna ask what people would like to hear an episode about.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If
just get some reaction,
any requests out there.
Yeah, let's just get some requests. Let's go to the phones. Let's open up the phone lines, and take some requests. I like that idea. Yeah, we're gonna actually start. I feel like now that we've kind of gotten into our vibe of this, we totally didn't get into the episode when we said we were going to get into it. But we got into this nice vibe. We're 14 episodes in now. This is episode 14, 15 right. if you count our episode 0. That doesn't count. But we've got a pretty solid idea that we want to keep doing this. So now that we know that we're enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. I know we've managed to work this consistently into our schedules.
Yeah.
For 3 months now.
It's pretty much just become part of our lives at this point.
Yeah.
So
it's part
of our weekly routine.
Yeah, and sometimes we record on Tuesdays, sometimes we record on Wednesdays, sometimes we record on Mondays.
It's record whatever day we see fit. I guess.
But I guess the thing is, this is sort of like a mission. This is a Punks Talk Wrestling like mission statement or like whatever to our listeners. Just thanking them for everybody that has listened so far as we've been treading our finding our path and finding our paddle through the water or something. I don't know where I was going with this, a swimming metaphor. So yeah, now we're gonna start focusing on a little more interaction, a little more seeing what the people that have started to tune in want to see more of.
Yeah.
We're doing it for fun, but we actually want to give you something. Give the people who listen what they want.
As Batista said many years ago, "Give me what I want." Remember that?
I remember it, and that's not what he said.
What he said?
Well, that is what he said, but that's not how he said it.
No, he's like, "Give me what I want.
Give me what I want. Give me what I want, Sir Hunter. Give me what I want, Hunter. Give me what I want." I fucking love Batista.
That's a good promo.
Shout out to Batista. Yeah, that'd be good for a clip to put on our TikTok to get some followers.
Shit. Fuck. Sorry.
Yeah. So, hey, how about now?
How about now again?
Anyway, yeah. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, good. I totally fell asleep last night watching this pay-per-view.
Yeah. Funny enough, you mentioned that in the text, and I did the same when I was watching it, just because I didn't start them until I didn't start till late.
Same, I didn't really start till late neither, but I finished watching it now, so we're good to go.
I'm glad you did finish watching it since we're
reviewing it. We'll just get to the second to last match and be like, and that's it because I didn't watch the rest, so. I actually, I've just literally been watching Raw. I'm like 2/3 of the way through.
Oh, same. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely the same. I have the main. I only have the main event left.
I am at the Becky Lynch segment right now. So.
Oh, which was excellent. It's funny enough, and funny enough, there was something. I made a note while watching Raw. Something that kind of relates back to the Survivor Series 2023. But we'll get to that.
Okay.
It was. Oh, did you see? I guess the question. Did you see Nakamura versus Otis?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then you know what then you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay. What's that?
Otis picked up a new move.
What's that?
Or at least I just noticed him. I noticed him do it that match, and the first time I heard the announcers say that he did a World's Strongest Slam.
Oh right,
on
yeah.
Nakamura.
Well, I think I think he has been doing that for a while, but they haven't referred to it as the World's Strongest Slam until now.
Now some of the Hulu. So now, I might have missed some of his matches too because my 90-minute Hulu cut, cheap Hulu cut, because we don't have enough patrons to afford me to upgrade my Hulu account.
Fuck Hulu. Fuck Hulu. Is that a new one?
Don't fuck Hulu. No, Hulu's not actually bad. I like Hulu overall. I just the problem is the networks that wrestling are on require to watch them live. It requires like the live TV package, and that's getting back up into the expensive. It's like $60 a month just for that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's and because WWE is literally the only show that I watch that's on a cable network. It's very difficult for me to justify spending $60 a month.
Yeah.
Just for
one TV show, basically.
Right, just for one or two TV shows, which I rarely get to watch live anyway,
right.
Because
Well, so I have a similar predicament in the sense that over in the UK, for like, I don't know, 25 years, WWE was on Sky Sports. It was always on a sports network, right? And then a few years ago, they changed to BT Sport, which is basically the competition to Sky Sports. And in order to get those, you need to subscribe to Sky Sports or BT Sports, but it's like £30 a month, and it's like I don't watch any other sports.
Yeah, it's really tough to justify it like, yeah. I would pay weirdly enough, I would pay a reasonable amount directly to WWE if I could just get WWE program. Like that's what I always thought that's what I thought the WWE network was going to be.
Well, that initially it was, but I think there's too much money in TV deals to do that. But what I would do, like if they offered like, okay, you can pay $20 or 20 quid for the WWE network, and you get like live and replays of Raw and SmackDown every week, like after they happen, straight after they happen. I would totally pay double. I actually would. It's only 20 quid. I would totally pay 20 quid.
Yeah, I would even pay, like it. I guess what just really bothers me. I guess kind of fuck Hulu a little bit then, yeah, in a way, because it does kind of bother me that that's a show. Like, what's the reasoning why they shorten it so much, and why do they cut it down?
I mean, look, like, right now,
what's the point? Like, what's the point if you're gonna put the most popular segments, the most popular segments with all the biggest stars on them anyway?
How long's the episode you're watching?
90 minutes.
90 minutes, right? So I watch Raw and SmackDown by certain means.
Yeah,
they're not.
With your eyes.
With my eyes,
I watch them with your eyes.
With my eyes, right? But the video I'm watching here is 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Sorry, 2 minutes. That's a short Raw. 2 hours and 6 seconds, right?
Okay.
So they've cut out like 35 minutes of content right there.
They probably have. Well, they probably cut out. Well, one, they've cut out commercials because in a 3-hour
Raw.
But
the one I'm watching is without commercials.
That's what I mean. Well, I mean, in a 3-hour, in a normal 3-hour Raw, I haven't watched a 3-hour Raw in I don't know how many years.
Well, here's the crazy thing. I'm watching this video with all the ads cut. That means there's 55 minutes of adverts in an episode of Raw.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that's not probably far off. There's probably at least 40. Like, American television is like most sitcoms. I guess when you rewatch the sitcoms on anything, you see like a 30-minute episode is 22 minutes. So you're you're just over a third, or you're just under a third of the time is commercial.
When I was in the States, I did notice this with we call them adverts over here, but you guys call them commercials. Same thing. You know what an advert is.
Yeah.
But
I do. We're on the same page with that.
But
it comes from advertisement.
Yeah. But in the
I don't know why we had to make another word for it. I know I didn't mean to cut you off, but like we talked about this
why
before.
Did you make another word for it?
Why did we make another word for something that already had a word in the language that we're already speaking? Like, we're so fucking dumb.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the extra word. We won't use it.
Unnecessarily overcomplicate things.
Yeah. So in the UK, we have a half an hour episode of something, right? First of all, if you're watching on the BBC, kind of fuck BBC, but that's for a lot of other reasons. We won't even go into that.
Okay. Well, one day we should. I mean, you and I can go into that.
Yeah. But BBC
because I'd like to know.
BBC is ad-free. Everything on the BBC has no adverts.
Okay.
And literally, you could watch an FA Cup football game or a Premiership football game or
that's like we have one network. We have WHYY is a network here. Like, I mean, but they're considered like public. Yeah, they kind of call them public access. Well, networks.
So BBC is technically publicly owned, right? Well, it is publicly owned, but WCC, what is it? WY what?
WHYY is the one.
Whatever.
Well, that's at least the one in my
But they're not that big of a network, right? I've never really heard of them.
No, but that's my channel 12. But that's like the free. Like, there's no commercials because they're all like Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street were on that network, so they were all like that network was predominantly educational and fundraisery stuff.
Right.
So like it was
BBC
always for.
Is not that. It's just
it wasn't just adult. It wasn't adult entertainment. Well, there was some.
I mean, everyone's heard of the BBC, right?
Yeah,
because
of course.
It's one of the biggest.
Because of Austin Powers in the Austin Powers.
Yeah, because of that reason.
Yeah, because of that and that reason alone. Mike, because of a Canadian comedians. Yeah.
But right, okay. So BBC shows no ads. Right, so every other network or whatever, we call them, what do we call them over here? We don't really call them networks. We call them channels, I guess.
Yeah,
I
guess. See, we have channels, but the channels are the numbers on the television dial. Like, channel 3.
Let me hold on. Let me just search up something here. I want to find out what we call them. Because, like,
man,
I've always called them channels. We always deep dive into something random, don't we?
And then we realize one of us doesn't actually know all these. It's usually me that doesn't know because, well, it's usually me.
British TV. It's a public. We call them public broadcasts. That's
public broadcast. Yeah. Okay, yeah, PBS. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
WHYY is the local affiliate that does, like, PBS Broadcasting is the network.
Yeah, well, we call it. It's PSB. It's a public service broadcasting. That's what we. Okay. Right. Anyway, whatever.
Kind of close. Both with the P.
Fuck
P for
me.
public.
This is the most roundabout way.
Yeah.
So we have. So if there's a half an hour long TV show on ITV, for example, right, which is our channel 3.
Yeah.
On there, you'll get a half an hour TV show. You'll get the TV show will start at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through, you get about 2 to 3 minutes of adverts, and then the episode comes back, and then it finishes at 9:30.
And that's it. So you have one break.
One break in the middle. Now I know that when I was in the States, I watched some TV more so when I was at the hotel.
Yeah,
and you literally, like, the show would start. And then 5 minutes would go by, and you have an advert, and then it would come back for maybe like 7 or so minutes to get to the middle of the episode. You have an advert, and it would come back for another 7 minutes, and you have an advert. Then the most annoying fucking thing, it would go for an advert, and then come back with the very final scene. No matter if that scene was like 30 seconds long, they'd come back for that final scene.
Oh yeah, and especially the networks. Well, especially networks that are. Within the, like, hotel cable packages,
right?
Do that a lot.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because they've just started rapid firing, like, because it's like they used to do it, like you said, there used to be one commercial break in the middle of the show, and it was 4 minutes long or 5 minutes long. Well, what happens is everybody gets up, goes into the other room and does something while the commercial's on, and then comes back when the show. They started putting more commercial breaks in shorter segments, so that it's less likely that you'll actually get up, because this commercial break may only be 2 commercials, and that's a minute, and you don't even, so it's certainly a broadcasting, it's an Americanized way of getting the most advertising in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, America's so good at
it's all advertising. I mean, every inch of every area would be an ad if certain people had their way. Here, it'd be completely nonstop.
I mean, to be honest, I live in London, so that London's like that. You go.
It's really just like that. Yeah. But I've seen the shift over time as well. I mean, I certainly remember back in the day, anyways, what were we getting at with that? Where were we going with that?
Jesus, we were talking about Raw.
The cut and the commercials and the length of it.
I wasn't even gonna get into that. I was just gonna say that Raw's pretty good so far. And phenomenal. We never really talk about modern, like, current day stuff. I'm just gonna say really quick that I'm really enjoying the lead up to War Games this year with the Judgment Day and the other.
The what?
The what?
The lead up to what?
Oh, sorry. Shit. Oh, fuck. Sorry. I'm really looking forward to the run up this year to War Games.
War Games. That's right. Thank you.
With Judgment Day and Team Cody and everything like that, it's been a lot of fun.
I am so happy that they gave the War Games line to Adam Pearce.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Aneurysm-inducing Adam Pearce right now is the best he's ever been.
Yeah, he did it on this Raw too, didn't he? At the start.
Oh, he did. Yeah. He is. I'm so excited to see where this is going, because I do think I see where this is going. It's certainly going to be somehow an Adam Pearce versus Nick Aldis.
Oh yeah, thing. And I'm totally here for it, because we finally got 2 GMs that can actually wrestle.
Yeah,
we can have like an NWA style classic between the two.
Yeah, and I can't recall all of the stuff, but I did a little like rabbit hole. I did a lot of rabbit hole clicking during this Survivor Series, because so many things kind of got brought up, and when I was going back,
I noticed that too, especially that first match. We'll get to it, but that first match got so many, like, it's like I opened up a million like side windows, like, in my mind to this match.
Yeah. Before we get to that though, man, I mean, actually, before we got to actually the real stuff, I just meant, did you see how things were going with you? How are things, and musically too? Any more updates?
Nothing
on that front?
Crazy new. I actually, the cover band Front, we're trying out as singer next Wednesday, so that's good.
Yeah. Oh, nice. See, in an attempt to actually bring some discussion of punk rock into
punk rock and the fact
punk
that
talk wrestling.
Yeah, and then
I made a note
to actually bring it up. And then the actual punk rock music making part of my life.
Right.
Yeah, I might be writing some stuff soon with an old friend of mine.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about that possibility.
Yeah,
you did give me some back history about that.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago. But,
yeah, but
cool.
We're gonna maybe in a few weeks or so, or next week maybe, have a look into that. But we got some ideas. Got some ideas going.
Yeah, we've got some ideas on our end too.
Yeah, what's going on your end?
Well, the main thing is we are actually seriously now looking at end of July or early August for a European tour.
Oh,
so it's very likely. It's very likely we'll be. We may not. We're cautiously hoping that we get accepted on the Rebellion Fest as one of the the new they have a new state. They have
they do. I mean, to be honest with you, Rebellion have so many. They have, for one, it's a 4-day festival, and second of all, it's like they have shit tons of bands. So I have no reason why you wouldn't.
But and I wanted to go back. It's been a long time. It's actually, and it's what actually made me think of of asking you about that too, is because when I got changed to do the podcast I got changed because. Not that we're filming video, but just I was like I needed to change clothes to get into a different mindset.
I don't
know if you do that on your end.
I mean, I totally understand what you mean, but right now it's freezing fucking cold, so I'm just wrapped up like a bitch.
Oh yeah, well that's also part of the point. It's so much chillier that I put on a hoodie, and I pulled out my Brassic hoodie.
Oh yeah.
Which is a band from the UK.
Yeah.
They're hardcore punk kind of, and they've been around. I don't know.
You just made me think of something real quick. Last Christmas, you got stuck in the middle of nowhere in the snow.
Yes.
And and you're on the news.
I was on the news.
You're wearing that hoodie because I randomly came across that. Like something on my phone, and I saw a picture of you, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
There's that hoodie.
When I was working for the company driving a truck, and I got stuck in that freaking blizzard up near Syracuse. That was, yeah. There's something we could post. Yeah, there's something we could post on our Instagram if we remember to post things on our Instagram.
Yeah,
I should. Oh, actually, speaking of which, I should get you to get me that info so I can.
Yeah, I was just thinking that the other day. Like
you might have done it, and I just lost it.
Yeah, it's been 14 episodes, and
I know, and I'm just like, I should send this to Chris to post. Oh, if only I could post it myself. Anyway, yeah. So while we're talking about, that's my short segue into some sort of punk related discussions.
Okay.
Riverside Odds is going to try to get to Europe. We're going to make it happen. I'm wearing a Brassic hoodie that you should go check out if you like badass UK hardcore punk. It's pretty fucking awesome. There you go.
Fuck yeah. I saw Super Suckers were on the European tour recently as well. They did some shows.
Yeah,
they
were. Yeah, they were just there. I think they're finishing up their European tour now.
Yeah, I think it's coming to an end now. But I just saw the other day that they were. I can't remember where they were somewhere near me.
Yeah, they're somewhere. Eddie's somewhere kicking my ass in chess somewhere else in the world. I
can tell you exactly. They were playing the O2 Islington Academy, where I played myself actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fucking
nice.
Years ago. But yeah, they played there on the 19th of October. So.
Was that wasn't with Snap Out, was it, or was that with something?
Yeah, that was with Snap Out when I played the O2 Islington Academy.
Oh right, nice, yeah. Awesome.
So,
I was mainly killing time a little bit there while I forgot to pull up my other notes. But I got them now. So I think we can actually get into it if we want.
Let's do it.
Yeah. How do we? Yeah.
I was going to hope for a really neat segue, but I'm not. So here it is, Survivor Series 2023.
Yes.
The 27th annual Survivor Series. Presented from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. And it was out of an attendance of 13,500 people.
Right, a nice solid number. A nice round
kind of half round number.
Yeah, kind of half round.
Yeah. Like a semicircle number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, I wonder how close to accurate that is.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. A little tidbit that I saw before we get into the actual event itself.
Yeah.
Is that, and I'm trying to find it. Where the fuck? Jeez. God. Oh, wait, I found it.
Okay. I was gonna say while you were looking for it, I have another tidbit too, and it probably explains
this Survivor Series was the worst selling edition of Survivor Series ever.
That is exactly the thing that I was gonna. That was my thing too. I'm like,
so it looks like only 179,000 people bought the pay-per-view, which is down 212,000 from the previous year, which is that's a big drop. It's a big drop.
Yeah. Yeah, over 100,000 less in the buy rate from 2011. This was a rough patch. Like 2013, and funny enough, when I was watching it and I'm thinking about what was going on, look at all the people that we've got involved in this, and I don't really remember much of it.
Well, yeah, I will say, like, I watched this. It was like a weird time capsule of that year, and it was like, oh, nothing much happened that year. I mean,
it was definitely a lull. It was definitely low times.
The summer of punk in 2011, and we were about to enter the Yes Movement era with Daniel Bryan in 2014.
Yeah, this was.
But in that weird bit, and then after that we had Seth Rollins turning on the Shield. So we had a lot going on in 2014, but 2013, 2012, there wasn't much going on.
Well, but in retrospect, looking at it and watching it, yeah, it definitely seemed a little underwhelming overall. We'll get into it. But when we look at everything in retrospect now, there are a number of things that were definitely set in motion. This was probably partially the lowest point, and I would very much bet we saw a sharp turnaround in 2014 after Royal Rumble. Like this is the end of the year, and a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff going on. So,
well, it's always funny watching an event from this kind of time, and obviously still watching the product now. Like you can see, you really start to see a lot of changes, a lot of differences, and
also who's still around, because this is a decade ago. This is 10 years ago, and our pre-show match, our opening match, was The Miz versus Kofi Kingston.
Yeah,
two people who are still wrestling. Like The Miz is number one contender for the IC title right now.
And two people that have wrestled each other, God knows how many times as well.
Yeah.
I
didn't actually watch the pre-show match. I totally forgot about it, so I can't say other than it. It was probably one of the best. It was probably a great match. Excuse me. Whew. It's the gum. It's the orbit. It's the orbit's gum. Hold on. Let me. Whew, there we go. Just had to clear that out a little bit. Is it better?
You're good.
It's The Miz versus Kofi Kingston. Like, it was probably great.
Yeah, there's no way that was a bad match. I mean,
there's no way that was a bad match. But the start of the first Survivor Series, the 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match, the start of the actual pay-per-view. It was still a pay-per-view back then, so we can call it a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Call it what it was. We've got the Shield and the Real Americans, Cesaro and Jack Swagger, with Zeb Coulter, with a gimmick that really didn't age well, versus Cody Rhodes and Goldust, Rey Mysterio and the Usos.
Yeah. Now there's so many before. Right. So my other point I was going to make real quick. We just went through the numbers of 2013. That's 10 years almost to the day. Well, actually, when was that? What date was this event? November 24th. So we're literally coming up
10
to
days away.
10 years exactly from this event.
Yeah.
And let's show you the turnaround from 2013 to now. Survivor Series last year was the highest grossing Survivor Series of all time, as well as the highest grossing gate. Oh my God. It was in the fucking same venue.
It was in the same venue too, right?
2022 was in the same venue as 2013. Highest grossing gate for WWE in Boston ever. So that tells you a lot as well. It was also the most viewed Survivor Series of all time.
And this year, this year's going to be insane because it's War Games.
War Games. Well, last year was too, though.
That's right. Last year was War Games. That's why it was so highly rated, because it was the first year there was War Games. I don't know why I keep forgetting that last year's.
Week, yeah.
I did that last week too. I don't know why I don't remember it.
It was such a good match as well. Like the Bloodline.
Well, you know what? I'll have to review it again on my own.
Definitely. I might even go back and watch that match because I fucking love that match so much.
I'm not sure what was going on.
That's when Sammy was like kind of not.
No, I mean what I was doing.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
I might have been busy. I might have been on the road or something. So I might have just not actually seen it live there. So, and that's why it doesn't stick in my head as much.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that, like, 10 years have moved on and WWE Survivor, WWE as a whole is like skyrocketed in popularity. And we keep saying it actually kind of every week how, I've got friends of mine who haven't watched wrestling in years and they're now watching again. And we're in a boom again. We are in a boom. I think so that's confirmed that we are in a boom.
You'd love to see it.
Yeah.
You'd love to see it. And the other thing about this match, 23 minutes and 23 seconds is a long time for Survivor Series matches. It's a decent time for Survivor Series matches, but that's a good amount of time. They gave everybody time, unlike the other one that we'll get to. But also, everybody, yeah, man. It was rough to get through some of these. It really was. But everybody in this match, there was, aside from Cody Rhodes, was still relatively young in his WWE career.
Yeah.
At that point, right?
Relatively. I'm not sure for sure.
I can't remember
when he started. Sorry, when you just said I don't know why.
But everybody in this match, in this opening match, is still active in WWE or in AEW right now.
Yeah, everyone's still active. And there's so many connecting points here. So I mean, we've got he
debuted. Cody Rhodes debuted in 2018. He was on the main roster in he was in the main roster on 2007. So he'd been on the main roster.
I've been there a while. Yeah. Well,
6 years.
I guess by this point he'd already gone through his phase with like undashing Cody Rhodes. And, and everything like
this
that.
Was past that. It was just before Stardust. It was right before Stardust, which again you can see this is the lead up to a lot of other things. But we had Goldust and Rey Mysterio as the two, basically more seasoned veterans. With Cody second, basically third to that.
Yeah.
Along with everybody pretty darn new at that point. And look at where everybody is right now. And
it's just insane. Like you look at this in this match, we got Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Rey Mysterio, and both the Usos. 7 people out of this 10 people match, you could say in 2023 are bona fide main eventers, regardless of what company they're in. And that's insane.
I noted that Rey Mysterio hasn't aged in 10 years, but that might also be because he's under a mask and I can't see.
No, I think Rey Mysterio has aged I actually wrote in my notes that he's in better shape now than he was 10 years ago.
Yes, I also had to make a note to call out the really embarrassing twerking by Zeb Coulter and Cody Rhodes in the beginning of that. Yeah, I mean, if you want to see something bad, that's something bad.
So let's look at all the connecting points here. So we got Cesaro.
This was the main
tagging with Dean Ambrose, right? Who are now in the Blackpool Combat Club in AEW. So they're now in a team together. So that was a precursor to that. We've got Roman Reigns looking across the ring from Cody Rhodes. We've got Seth Rollins looking across the ring from Cody Rhodes. We've got Roman Reigns looking across the ring at Jey Uso. There's so many things here which are like precursors to something that's happening 10 years later. It's mad.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And also not to put it out there, but this is the Shield. So they made a big deal about this. Was the 1 year anniversary of the Shield, and that's a big. They debuted the year before Survivor Series. So to see where they were at in 1 year, we'll just skip to the end. Roman Reigns is the sole survivor after it's Rollins and Reigns as 2 against 5.
Yeah,
Rollins and Reigns is 2 against 5, getting down to 2-on-2. And then Rollins gets eliminated, and then Roman Reigns eliminates the last 2. Rey being the last one.
Yeah,
that is right there. Is look at who's the star. Like Roman Reigns is a fucking superstar. They've already put it on him. I feel like
I remember this match being like the first time they really started to push him, and then what they ended up doing the year after in 2014. Oh no, that was 2015 that he won the Royal Rumble, wasn't it? Yeah, 2015 he won the Royal Rumble, but it was still too soon at that point.
And also, look who got eliminated first.
Yeah, Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. Like,
yeah, very quickly as well. Very quickly.
I know there's mixed. I know there's a lot of mixed. Like some, I have very mixed, about his work preference wise. Like, I just, I don't think he was bad, but I definitely think he was in a ranking of all three of them. He definitely was on the bottom of the three. And that's not for nothing. He's multi-time champion. He's fucking great, but it's indicative because his style, he's naturally one of those old hardcore blood and he loves the deathmatch. He loves that kind of shit. And I just don't dig it.
It's not to say that Dean Ambrose is bad. It's just like out of the three, for me, it's clear as day which one. Well,
here's what you could tell that Dean. I'll spin it in a positive way.
Yeah.
For him, because he's always said he prefers to do what he likes. And I mean everybody obviously have a field day doing what you want. I don't have to like it or care, but it was obvious that his time in WWE, he wasn't happy.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy with the roles he was in, and he obviously struggled at least from my perspective, he struggled with how can he be authentic?
Yeah.
In an environment where he's doing things that are not authentic to what he wants to be doing. So it always came off as he was always a little cheesy, or he was always a little bit just like lackluster. He was always just a little.
I feel like as soon
he didn't care. Like
the Shield ended, it was the end of him, really. And
he didn't have he couldn't hang on his own in that environment because that environment couldn't allow him to be the best of what he can do. Like, he's amazing at what he does. I'm not gonna shit on it.
Oh,
I just
for sure,
don't like it.
It's just like, who knows?
I just don't like it.
The thing is, if he had stuck around,
and it's obvious, and it's not,
who knows? Like Rollins and Reigns have both gone on to be ultimately the best versions of themselves. And
dude,
if he had stuck around, you never know what. I mean, look what Reigns had to go through. Like LA Knight the other week, made reference to the whole suffering succotash shit that Reigns had to go through, and all of the years of being booed, and the different gimmicks that.
I forgot about the whole sucker and succotash thing. Yeah. When he even brought it up, I'm like, wait, what the fuck is he talking about? Oh, yeah.
But think of all the things that Rollins had to go through, all the gimmicks he went through in order to get to where he is. Sometimes you need to do that shit to get to that point.
Yeah, and that's why it was. And I said the same. I've always stood beside this because I believe it. If he would have figured out how to make that gas mask angle, goddamn, if he could have kept that, if he could have kept that into the pandemic, do you realize how strong of a heel he could have been? Yeah. How amazing! Be like, I told you this a year before. You were all dirty and germ and look at this. You all screwed the world. Like, he could have. I truly believe Jon Moxley, the person, could have turned that gas mask angle into such a huge fucking thing. It would have made him insanely hateable for not, like, he couldn't be anything other than a heel with it.
Oh no.
But what a missed, what a possible what if scenario.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, the match was fucking great. Everybody got time.
I enjoyed the match.
Except Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose didn't get
got
any
kicked
time.
out in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. But everyone was great in this match. Cesaro was like, I haven't seen Cesaro wrestle in such a long time, so it was good to see
I haven't seen Cesaro wrestle in so much time either because because we know why.
Yeah.
Or Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
Here's what I did have another note on this because this reminded me the Cesaro swing era.
Yeah.
The crowd is so fucking bad at counting.
Yeah.
Crowds cannot fucking count. And so I went back and watched it. I had to watch it with the sound off so that I could actually count based on, looking at the position of the ring that he started the swing to when he got around.
Thing. Yeah, I was like, so they were not in time at all.
The first swing on Jay, or was it Jimmy? I don't know. They were wearing face paint at this time. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I couldn't tell either. Yeah.
The crowd counted 15, but it was only 13 and a quarter rotations. The second one was abysmally worse. The crowd counted all the way up to 20, and it was only 15. The crowd was just counting. Like, they were just counting. They weren't counting in time.
They were just counting. They were counting in tempo, but not in tempo. They might have been.
Maybe they thought they were counting in seconds. And maybe that was a little closer because they were not counting it.
We all know that when we're counting to that, we're counting the revolutions. We're not counting the seconds that he's doing it.
Right. Yeah. But it's curious. But seeing this and having we could go back and see this, and I'm sure it would be the same with any time he does it. They're just wrong. I didn't time it based on actual time, but I wonder if it's just everybody's counting in what they feel like is a second, because we're so used to counting down to the Royal Rumble, counting down to the entrance of the War Games.
We're counting at the speed of wrestling.
We're counting to we're counting to the end of what beat the clock challenges. So wrestling fans are conditioned to count
perfect seconds. So now I've got to go back and see if this is correct or not. I can just forget about it and we can move on. Spear to Cody Rhodes. Wow, that was awesome. Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, I put it on the Instagram last night, actually, when I was watching on the Punks Talk Wrestling Instagram on the stories. But I was like, when Reigns got tagged in, I was like, here we go. This is a precursor to a WrestleMania main event 10 years before it happened, and we had no idea.
Yeah,
crazy,
no clue at all.
Yeah.
In the end, the Roman Reigns is the sole survivor.
Survivor, and definitely on his way to a push.
1 year in,
Yeah, they clearly saw something in him.
Yep, and they were right. They were absolutely 100% right. Him and Rollins, they were 100% right. Because also when you think about it, at the end, the last two eliminated from the opposing team was Goldust and Rey Mysterio, the two longest tenured WWE
veterans,
superstars. Yeah. So Rollins was still there he was the last eliminated of this new batch of talent.
Yeah.
Speaking of new,
mm-hmm.
Brand new Intercontinental Champion Big E Langston.
Okay. I don't even remember this title reign.
If you hear that, if you imagine chalk bouncing off of giant pectoral muscles that I don't have under this brassic hoodie.
It was
Matt, you're imagining it, right? You had to stop.
Yeah, I'm imagining it. It's
imagining it
there in my head right now.
Yeah.
I don't remember this title run.
Yeah, I
saw this was an Intercontinental title match, and I presumed that Curtis Axel was the Intercontinental Champion. Turns out he lost that title about a week before in an episode of Raw. And this goes back to what we were talking about the other week, is that we're really glad that, like, we were watching that old WCW pay-per-view, and we were saying that, like, a lot of those matches could have been on an episode of Raw. This could have been on an episode of Raw. This did not need to be in a pay-per-view, honestly.
Yeah, but it was showcasing Big E.
Well, yeah,
that's the one thing.
I get that.
Now that's the real thing. It was showcasing Big E as and the IC title at that was all. That was all it was. I forgot about Curtis Axel was around at this time too, and I was like, oh, that's right, Curtis Axel is Mr. Perfect's kid.
Yeah, this was during his initial push.
Yeah,
well, his only push.
He was in the B team. He was in the B team. Yeah, he was on the B team.
Yeah,
he was also what wasn't he Miz? It wasn't him and somebody else was.
Yeah, well, him and Bo Dallas were part of.
Were the Miztourage.
The Miztourage, and then they left.
The Miztourage, and then they became the
B team. Yeah. So
they became the B team, because they were B-lister, because they weren't even because Miz was an A-lister, and
right.
They weren't even.
But it was a 7-minute match. It was Big E's. It was good to see Big E much younger.
Man, I miss Big E. Man, I hope he's doing well, and I don't know if we'll ever see. I don't know if we'll see him in a WWE ring again. I mean, we'll see him in a ring. I'm sure we'll see him.
I'm sure we'll see him again.
He'll come out and people will cheer, but I don't know if we'll ever see him wrestle.
In this match, he was 27 years old.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
And it's crazy because I thought, we're coming up probably very soon. We're coming up on the New Day being 10 years old as a team.
Yeah, because this was this was another thing I had to go back and this is why I started deep diving in there, because I was like, wait, this is pre New Day, and I really like the same thing you said. I didn't really remember much of Big E's solo run.
I remember
before
him
the
being
New Day.
like Dolph Ziggler's like heavy for a while with AJ Lee as well. She was part of that.
Yeah, and that was and so he was sort of he was he was coming up. He was doing the thing that Batista was doing when Batista was coming up too. He was the heavy. He was somebody else's heavy.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, look at it. How could he not? It's such an easy gimmick to get into, to be into.
Yeah.
It's a lot to get into. Yeah. Solid match. Yeah. Curtis, it reminded me how good Curtis Axel was too. Like, he's fucking great.
Yeah. Before this match, actually, we had a little backstage segment which we had multiple times in the night of Randy Orton having like friction with the Authority. Oh, we also forgot to mention the really weird cold open to the event.
Yeah, the cold. I had a note of this too, and I glossed over it. The hilarity, like they had to blatantly come out at the beginning of the event and state that there will not be any.
Couldn't that have been a backstage segment between the first two matches?
Like, yeah, it
didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense other than it was starting the show with Triple H's music, and you can take that how you want. But it was also you're starting the show with Triple H because they're part of the Authority, right? This is the Authority era.
Yeah.
And they're pushing their weight around, and you know, so of course they're going to start the show, you know.
Yeah.
Triple H and Stephanie.
I mean, I guess it made sense in context in the fact that they were like the Authority. They were like a big like.
It was also, it was also to play into what happens later. Of course.
For sure.
It's got him on a technicality kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he said there'll be no physical interference.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of physical interference in matches lately.
Yeah. So there was that happened, and then we also had
which is funny because this was basically a scenario where Randy Orton had a group of people around him causing chaos to keep the title on him.
Yeah.
And why you know what? It didn't take off as well at the time, but they sure were able to reuse it in the Bloodline. You know. Anyway, where were we? I
was just going to say that this was the era that Flow Rider was the fucking theme song for every pay-per-view. Because he was the theme for this one as well. Yippee. Gotta love some.
Also shout out Michael Cole was commentary there too. Like, also, I mean, forgetting Michael Cole is been around for so long now. I'm gonna go out there. I had this thought, and I thought it was gonna be a controversial. What's that? Hot take. Yeah. But I really feel like Michael Cole is deserving of being in the running for greatest of all commentary.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, the guy's been a commentator since 1997, man.
Yeah.
Like that's a long fucking time.
Almost 30. He's coming on. I mean, he's
coming up to 30
he's got
years.
25 years, yeah.
Yeah.
25 years already.
I also just looked and found out that he's been married since 1987.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Also, it was good to hear JBL on commentary.
Yeah, not so much Jerry Lawler, but I love Jerry Lawler, but not
so much.
Just,
I could do. Even then, I could do without Jerry Lawler.
Probably
right. He was tired. But JBL, I always I know because I noted something about JBL's commentary later.
We also have Ricardo Rodriguez on Spanish commentary.
We did. Yeah. And Carlos Cabrera.
Yeah.
And Marcelo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Marcelo and Ricardo Rodriguez. Yeah.
But then next match.
We also had a new Renee Young as backstage interviewer.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah.
Uh-huh. We might as well just go down all the rest of these. We had Lillian Garcia and Justin Roberts as ring announcers. Referees Charles Robinson, John Cohn, Chad Patton, Ryan Tran, Mark Harris, and Jason Ayers. And the pre-show panel consisted of Josh Matthews, Booker T. McFoley, and Bret Hart.
That's quite a stacked pre-show, I gotta say.
Yeah, and we see him later get interrupted by Ryback.
Yeah. Oh.
I know I kind of jumped into that, but
we'll get to that because first we'll get the embarrassment of the women's division.
Yeah, this was a bad time. This was a real bad time
to watch.
It was hard to see where they were really at the time. Like,
well, you know, it's hard to watch, but it's like it's also good to watch in the sense of like, look how far we've come. You know.
Look, yes, that's true. Look at how far we've come in 10 years. Because just 10 years ago, and I'm not saying anything was bad. It was really badly played. First of all, you've got 7-on-7, so you've got 4 additional people, and they had 12 minutes less. It was just like people were getting eliminated by drop kicks and cross bodies.
It was really poor. People were getting eliminated by one move.
Yeah, just like
Boy.
It was a big ad for Total Divas, and it just I don't know, it just kind of it really fell flat because it didn't. The only person that looked good in the whole thing was Tamina.
Yeah.
Tamina and Natalya.
Yeah, pretty much. Because they're the only two really in this match, being very brutally honest. Full-fledged, like they wanted to be wrestlers and nothing else.
Yeah, Tamina and Natalya looked real good and all that.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to the fact that JoJo got in the ring.
Yeah, I didn't even remember the fact that she was a wrestler for a short period.
She wasn't.
Yeah.
She was not. She was on. She was on Total Divas because of. I think she was already an announcer at that point, right?
I don't think so. Let me check this out.
Because they made a point that this was her first match. Like this was her first match at that level. They said.
Yeah.
JoJo. Let's check. Let's do a quick JoJo Wikipedia search. Shout out to Wikipedia. Support Wikipedia. 2013 joined WWE Network's reality show Total Diva. At just 19 years old, she made her main roster debut on the June 26th episode of Main Event, singing the entrance theme for Tons of Funk alongside the Funkadactyls.
Right,
so she was connected to the Funkadactyls somehow.
But then she was in like a 6-women tag, but was never tagged into the match. And then
never
she had
tagged
the
into the
match
match.
of Survivor Series. By the way, this Survivor Series match, there ended up being an exact rematch of it the next night on Raw, which is random as fuck.
That's weird.
And then,
all right.
And then in that match, she eliminated Tamina in that match.
Oh, because they did give her a little, like they gave her a little bit of offense, and people cheered. So they, I mean, hey, I'm glad they gave them more airtime again, at least.
Yeah.
Because they gave them all such little time on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are things we've touched on that too. You've got to consider some of that stuff, and they had a different mindset back then. There was definitely someone different.
I mean, they were called divas. So.
They were still called divas.
Yeah.
So that
and as you say, it was all being run by someone else.
Anyway, the point was, you should check out every one of the people involved in that match have had great matches.
Yeah. For sure.
Except maybe for JoJo, because I don't think she really had many matches.
Well, yeah.
Period.
Fair.
Also, shout out to Oksana. I loved Oksana because she was representation. She is the only Lithuanian professional wrestler in WWE.
True.
So for me, that's cool because I am half Lithuanian. Little tidbit of
what?
Little inside baseball.
I didn't even fucking know that.
You didn't? I've got a fucking. I didn't go through. You never asked about all the tattooed flags on my arm. I never told you that story. Yeah.
No.
Oh, it was kind of chilly.
Your dad or your mom?
My mom. Yeah, my mom's first. My grandparents were born in Lithuania and immigrated, and they were actually my grandparents were an arranged marriage between their parents when they immigrated.
Shit. Well, my mom was first
generation born.
We've both got Eastern European ties then, because I'm basically 1/4 Polish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the granddad on my mom's side was Polish, so my mom's half Polish.
I found out I have a little bit. I have a little bit of Polish, and I think something else too. Primarily it's Lithuanian, Hungarian, German, and then English and Welsh.
That's mad.
Yeah.
I had a Lithuanian girlfriend once.
Yeah?
Yeah, years ago. Her name is Vilta.
That sounds, sounds, well, there you go.
Yeah. Shout out to Vilta.
Shout out to Vilta.
Ex-girlfriend
Chris's
from like 20 fucking years ago. But
yeah.
Something like that.
And where are they now?
Where are they now?
You know? That'd be fucking hilarious if somebody knows who
if
you're
you just
about.
Like knew I was going to bring this up and like, well, funny you mentioned that because we have her on the show right now.
If any of our 3 listeners who are friends that we know who don't no, I should say that. That's a silly thing for me. Yeah, what? It's off the rails, man. We're always off the rails at some point.
So, AJ, no, Natalia's team win this match.
Natalya wins, yeah. Natalya and one of the Brie Bella, I think, was not eliminated. One of the Bellas was not eliminated.
Nikki was also
Nikki Bella.
Yeah,
Nikki Bella had not
she
been
was there
yeah.
at the end there. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Go watch all of their other matches.
Also, I will say actually real quick because I did notice it at the very start of the show. During the opening video, like the opening package.
Oh, it was an excellent cinematic intro.
It was great, by the way. But they didn't feature the women at all.
I didn't take notice of that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, there you go. So that was that, and
they're doing much better. Shout out to them doing much better.
That's right. So we follow that greatness by some more greatness with Ryback.
Yeah. So. I don't know why I thought Ryback was as great as I thought he was when I remembered it, when I used to see him. I know. I guess he was close to that Ultimate Warrior kind of thing where he's just this beast. I guess it just I thought Feed Me More was fun.
Feed Me More was fun. Yeah,
Feed Me More was fun, and it was fun to say.
I liked him during his face run. I thought
I liked it when he was face. That's what it was.
His style was hokey, right? It was a really hokey style, and like I used to like the way he used to get him into this finishing move and do the weird like march around the ring while he had them on his shoulders. It was dumb.
I loved that.
Fun,
no, but I love that. Yeah, and maybe that's what it was. I liked him when he was a face.
Yeah,
when he was just a big mean face.
But then he turned heel, and then he says the word bully, but the way he says it's so weird. He says bully.
Yeah, and he also I don't know. It's just. Again, it's just one of those things where he just could not pull off being a heel, and like his heel promo was very lackluster. It's very generic. Like I'm gonna prove that I'm the biggest and the toughest and the best looking guy. And I'm like, dude, now that's just silly.
Yeah,
you could have stopped at biggest and toughest because that's believable. But dude, look at you. Like, it's not an offense. I'm not saying Ryback's an ugly guy, and I'm not judging people based on their appearances, but literally by every sense of any appearances, there are much better looking people on the roster than him.
Yeah.
Like Cody Rhodes Cody Rhodes is a much better looking person than Ryback. That's just objectively true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like it might sound like, I don't know. Sounds a little dickish the way I'm saying it, but I'm criticizing the general weakness of the promo. When you say things that are just this will come up later too. When you say things in your promo that are just objectively obviously just false. As a heel, it just makes you look whiny and weak. Like, it just makes it's just kind of lame. You are a dumb bully. It's very, and maybe it's because maybe he's trying to be maybe he's trying to be simplistic. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you out. I just want to finish that part of the thought. Maybe he was trying to be simplistic, purposefully, for reasons that I don't understand. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be for me.
I don't know.
But I think it was just bad.
Yeah. Well, so and that's why. In recap, faced a returning Mark Henry in a very short match, and Mark Henry wins. Now, I've just come across this...
with the World's Strongest Slam.
With the World's Strongest Slam, in fact.
Now picked up by Otis on Raw.
So, we've...
in case that gets cut out from the beginning.
So, Ryback, he's gone on to be quite a bit of a controversial guy within the world of wrestling since he left the WWE.
And
for many, but I've just come across this, which is quite relevant. This is an actual quote from Mark Henry himself.
Okay.
It says, a lot of his peers look at him as difficult. A lot of his peers look at him as dangerous. And apparently expressed his displeasure of him talking shit about the wrestling industry and once labeling it fake.
Yeah, he really wasn't. Yeah, that's the thing. He kind of had that, in a way, he really had that Goldberg kind of, I'm just here, this is just a job. I'm hired to do a job, and I'm doing a job. And that's also why it came off as like, a lot of times it came off as so disingenuous and like, and it's just like, man, you've got it all. He had the look, he had the ability, he had everything. And he just didn't actually want to be a professional wrestler, it sounded like. And some of the stuff that his criticism, not just of wrestling, but the business itself and this, now some of his stuff some of the stuff he said kind of has some ring of truth to it. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, why would someone who's a champion get paid more than, or why does someone who win the match get paid more than someone who loses the match?
Right.
If it's scripted, but that's not always. But one, that's not always the case.
That's certainly
not the case. That's definitely not the case. And I can just say the business is just not that simple.
Yeah.
Maybe it was back in the day. Maybe it was back in there's the winner's purse kind of thing, but also back in the day, most people were jobbers.
Yeah.
Like most people, you were either a star or you weren't. Like there wasn't this
I'm
many guys.
That for the most part now on the roster, like especially on the main roster. In fact, not even that. I know for a fact that even people who signed to NXT are signed to contracts. They get an annual wage at this point.
Right. They have an annual. Yes, exactly. Everybody's contract. That's another thing that, like, and again, I can't speak on contracts that I don't know about.
Yeah,
but from things I've heard from other people who do know about them, these people, like, I never understand why other people complain about what someone else is getting paid. Like, especially when it's like, yeah, but you've signed this deal. Like, I don't. That's one of those things where it's just from a business perspective. I understand that there are, what if you want to get into a hot topic, like there are definitely businesses that take advantage of contracts. It's not like it's unheard of that people put things in contracts that are biased towards the person making the contract. It's business. The person making the contract is the one that wants to benefit the most out, is the one that has, usually the person writing up the contract has the most to lose. So they want to have the most to gain. Whereas the person signing the contract is the one that is trying to get the person to pay them. There are a lot of what I'm getting at is there are a lot of people that talk online that talk about contracts that have never actually signed a contract, and all those people can just shut the fuck up about it. Like
pretty much.
Like anybody's opinion about it is it's just null and void. Like it's just, you're just dumb. You don't know what you're talking about, and that's me healing out on some people, but it's true. Like so the comments and the things that he would say about how the business is actually run, it's like, well, man, it ain't your business. Go start your own. Like, by all means, he's perfectly free to start his own wrestling business and run it differently.
That's right.
Other people have. Like he's, So anyway, Ryback I spent more time than it took for Mark Henry to squash the fuck out of him. I fucking love Mark Henry, man.
I love Mark Henry.
This is what I do. I love Mark Henry is to quote the Comedians Wrestling podcast, one of my guys.
Yeah, this was also the debut of Bold Mark Henry.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Just for.
But
because it's
but
true.
It's just because it's true. But man, it is always good to see Mark Henry. This is what I do. That's what I do. Was the best, and like Mark Henry has had so many good moments, and a good majority of them are just returning Mark Henry. Mark Henry surprise returns are like some of the biggest pops.
Yeah. Mark Henry returns. Or obviously, we got the whole Mark Henry
turn.
Fake retirement.
Fake retirement. Heel turn. God, let's just talk. I mean, we mentioned that on the heel. That was on our heel turns episode. Go back.
We did talk about it. Yeah, I don't know if it was. It wasn't actually. Didn't make the list because I think we just forgot about it. But
I think we did. I think we did until after we made the list and we were still recording.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, go back and listen to our heels episode and tell us that we made a mistake by not putting it in
there. So then we go from Ryback to Alberto.
Do I have any more notes on? Oh yeah, no. My note is Mark Henry returns are the best returns. That's it.
Cool. There we go. We go from Ryback to Alberto Del Rio. Yeah.
So, first let's talk about we get a recently returned Cena from injury, which is interesting because the angle that he was going with here was, I was just injured. Do I know if I can go?
Yeah.
And he got, obviously he's coming in as the champion because he just like Biggie just did. John Cena just recently beat Alberto for the title.
Yeah.
And this is Alberto's rematch. So we had a rematch for the IC title, and then we have the rematch for the World Heavyweight title, World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, obviously we see Cena early in the night in the medical office, actually right before the match. He doesn't want to wear his arm.
Right before the match. Yeah.
He doesn't want to wear his arm protection or whatever, his elbow pad or whatever. So
yeah.
I mean,
this is another. Here's another. The match was anything that we can say good about this match was because of John Cena.
Yeah, I mean,
it's because of John Cena. I just made another note of that. Man, Alberto really was bland.
I've got a similar note actually. What does my one say? Mine says Del Rio sucks. End of.
Yeah, it really comes back. You could. I don't know what other than that. This ties back into the same thing with Ryback's heel thing was his entire angle in this rematch. They played it through the video package. His whole thing was Cena stole my title and he's playing the victim here.
Yeah.
When there's just nothing truthful about it. And so it's just so lazy to me that it's like you don't have any you can't just be mad that he surprised you. Like, okay, you can talk about, I don't even remember if he came back. It was a surprise return from Cena, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Let's go back up just to make sure that is correct. Anyway, because I want to make sure that I'm correct. Where was it during the match? It doesn't say. Anyway, we're gonna go off the fact that he had kind of surprised Del Rio on his return. I don't know if it was like Del Rio didn't know he was going to face John Cena, or if Del Rio made an open challenge and Cena and a returning Cena. Whatever the case was, there was no shady things. Like, John Cena didn't steal the title by nefarious means. They had a match and he beat him and pinned him. So I'm heel. This heel angle is just so weak, and I hated it. It was
I think one
it was a very forgettable match.
We'll get to this at the end of the pay-per-view, but overall, storylines at this period were very bland.
Bad. They were very weirdly they just weren't good.
If
and
compare,
it was
we'll get to, let's save this conversation because there's a lot to go into in this for this conversation here. So well, that match was I mean, John Cena had all of his John Cena moments and everything you wanted from John Cena, and John Cena gets the win. But I mean,
no, there was one thing I want to mention about this match because I don't know how often he had done it before, but this was the first time I saw it caught on camera.
What's that?
When he runs to the ring on his entrance and he has the title belt in his hands, he slid the belt into the ring first while he didn't slide into the ring with the belt in his hand. He slid the belt in. The referee caught it. And then right as Cena popped up, the ref tossed it into his hands, and it was the smoothest fucking thing.
Really? I didn't see that.
Go back and watch that angle. Yeah, that was the most entertaining part of that match. Was Cena's slide into the entrance. Well, I'll go back. I'll take a video clip of it, and we can post it to our Instagram illegally from my fuck Peacock. Man, this is probably going to come back to bite me in the ass at some point.
At some
maybe.
Point,
I mean, no, because nobody cares. Like, I'm not worried that Peacock's going to get mad that I disagree with their UI. It's not going to hurt their feelings and whatever. I'm really not concerned about that. What I am concerned about is the next match. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan in a kind of odd couples pairing. However, once you dig deep into some history, and I had to go back. I'm like, fuck, this is CM Punk. I've got to actually go back and look at some CM Punk stuff. And I can say whatever I want about CM Punk because this is our podcast, and I'm free to do that.
That's right.
And I've probably given him less credit. I've definitely given him less credit than he deserves as far as his ring accomplishments. But also, like, they're looking back into his history of where he was, and also how little time he spent in the Indies before he got to WWE. Like, a lot more of everything makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I'll just put it like that. A lot more of everything makes a lot more sense when I went back and looked at his actual history and who he worked with. And it's not a criticism, it's not a praise anything. It's just like I understand a little better what I did do and don't, what I did and didn't agree with as far as like his work. It was interesting.
CM Punk was for a period, one of my favorite wrestlers, and obviously, we had his pipe bomb moment and that rivalry after that with Cena and Vince McMahon. I loved it. It was great television, and actually, for a period of time where wrestling was in a bit of a lull, he did create an amazing moment, an amazing period of time in wrestling.
Absolutely, I'm not going to say he didn't, but I also knowing, and again, knowing now what it can sometimes tarnish a little bit of it. Yeah, it was that time period was pretty damn entertaining, but I think also it wasn't what made I didn't like him for. Like, WWE made me care about CM Punk,
right?
And just like everything else, it's just like turns out. I certainly don't care about him outside of the realm of WWE, and even he couldn't make me care about himself in WWE once it took to him having to, rely on himself and not the initial buzz, his initial rocket up.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely on his, like we said, this is him on his way down and out of WWE.
Yeah, I mean,
and Daniel Bryan on his way up.
2 more months after this, he was out. I mean, January Royal Rumble was his last appearance. So
yeah,
he was definitely on the way out the door at this point.
Yeah. And this whole match was to showcase. It was really to showcase Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family more than anything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was a great. I mean, it was as great of a match as it should have been.
Yeah, a solid match, 100%.
It was a solid match. Yeah, it was a solid tag team match. Not gonna give no lie, but also wasn't very memorable for anything. It was a show. It was a showcase match for the Wyatts.
Yeah, obviously, ultimately they did lose, but it was
right.
A good opportunity to get Rowan,
which
and
maybe
Harper
that was,
exposed.
and maybe that. Oh, sorry. What?
No, they go for it.
No, you go for that.
No, I was just saying it was a good opportunity to get like Rowan and Harper, some exposure. I don't think like up until this point they hadn't had too much exposure as a tag team. So
yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, because they were fairly new onto the main, because they came in, the Wyatt family came in after the Shield. This is the Wyatt family are relatively new to the main roster at this point.
Oh yeah, big time, yeah.
Yeah,
and they were on the poster for the pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, let's. Let me see real quick. I
think they might have debuted the year before.
They debuted. No, they debuted in July of that year, July 2013.
That's what
it was.
4 months basically.
They started. It was Kane. Kane was the first
rivalry was Kane. Yeah.
We talked about that because it was.
We talked about it on the Bray Wyatt episode.
We talked about it on the Bray Wyatt episode. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan were the two people that they targeted right after that. So this was that.
Yeah.
This was the Wyatt family targeting individuals. That's why this match happened. But I think it was one, because it wasn't Bray Wyatt in the match. It didn't hurt Bray Wyatt. It was okay for Harper and Rowan to lose. They still looked strong.
Yeah.
Knowing now CM Punk was on his way out, it was a good bump for, it was a good push for Daniel Bryan and a maybe, I don't know if they knew he was going to be. I don't remember how he left the company. If they knew he was on his way out already at this point. No, they didn't know.
He just kind of took his ball and went home.
Right, that's right. He kind of. But even at this point, they're letting him get out. They're letting him have the wins.
Yeah. I still
that's
think
another thing.
Like at this point, like the reasonings he left was like. I don't know. We all know what...
It was the reasons were very selfish reasons, and the funniest part was that when he came back in AEW, he tried to make this fucking claim that he was a different person, and he was a different person. It was fucking worse.
I mean, evidently, you're right, because
I'm not saying anything that everybody else hasn't said and doesn't know.
Look how it all ended.
Look at how it all ended.
Yeah.
So we've talked about it. I don't want to see him in WWE.
Yeah,
I have no interest in it. And if he does show up, I probably won't like it. I probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, Jeez.
Anyway, we don't have to do it. Whatever. Fucking. Let's talk about that match is over. Let's talk about the main event.
All I'm going to say is,
I just don't want to. Okay,
I don't.
Final
thought. I don't think. There's obviously a lot of speculation running around at the moment whether or not he would be.
It's still relevant, yeah.
And obviously, it would be a huge return. It's just whether or not, two things. It's whether or not the WWE as a whole would trust him after what happened with him in AEW twice, mind you, with literally beating the fuck out of the roster members backstage. And the other thing is whether or not Triple H solely would trust him, because there's a lot of heat between the two of them.
Yeah.
And Triple H is basically Triple H is now in charge, and fully in charge as well.
Absolutely. As he should be.
And as he absolutely should be. In a modern day world of wrestling, again, this is stuff I want to touch on in a second as well when it comes to our kind of recap of this pay-per-view, because there's a lot I want to delve into. But but Triple H in charge right now, would he let someone like that back into what seems like a really healthy, happy roster? Locker room?
Triple H answered the question in this very pay-per-view earlier on that night when he said he's going to do what's best for business.
Yeah, that's true.
The bottom line is WWE has no need for him.
Yeah.
AEW needed him. AEW needed him because they need constant dopamine spike boosts.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing like I don't want to shit on AEW in this podcast. It has nothing to do with it, but like, it's just the writings are on the wall. Like, it's just stuff that like, there's no reason for WWE to bring him back. It would. He showed that he didn't actually benefit AEW,
right?
Except for the pop that they got on his initial return, which everybody knew. Everybody knew it wasn't even a surprise. Everybody knew at that point. So it was everybody tuning in to see it, yeah. But immediately after they saw it, they're like, okay, yeah, I saw him return. I did, I watched it. I watched it too. It was one of the few things I watched in AEW, and I was like, well, okay. Yeah, cool. Moving on. It was just, I can't say he did anything of value with that company. I'm pretty sure he's only cost them money at this point.
Pretty much at this point, yeah. Speaking of moving on, let's move on to the main event of this pay-per-view, which is Randy Orton versus the Big Show. Here's
another, before we get, I didn't even have this on my notes, but as soon as I got to this, realizing it's the WWE Championship, we need to talk about how bad that title was.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Being so close to, it's almost exactly what the title is now. It's so close to the design we have now, which is so good. I love the current. I do love the current title.
I do. I like it too. I mean, we symmetrical. Literally both of us have a fucking replica of it.
Yes, we should. Oh, and you got to bring it with you.
I shouldn't I?
We have to. Yeah, we have to both take them to WrestleMania next year.
Yeah.
So that we can do like the Spider-Man pointing at each other, because we'll have Punk's Talk Wrestling T-shirts probably at that time.
Fuck yeah, we will. I don't care if we just have to make two. We'll make two.
Yeah,
and we'll wear
we'll probably have two.
Yeah. What better way to promote the fucking podcast than
right?
The fuck.
Oh yeah, of course we're gonna. Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Oh, actually, I did see the Wells Fargo events like Raw, SmackDown, Hall of Fame, NXT. All of those events go on sale on Friday, I think.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. Maybe we'll have a conversation about that if you wanted to. Maybe we may be interested in attending some.
We'll delve deep on that one in a second.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get to the main event.
Yeah.
This is, the angle was good. I really think the angle in the storyline was a good storyline.
Yeah.
But I do think that it was still a little off, and I think
it was off.
A lot of people.
Off is the best word for it. Yeah. It just didn't. It just fell short. It didn't feel. It felt like with the right. I don't know. It felt like there were consequences, but there wasn't. And
with the lead up angle where Big Show was fired, but then immediately had to be rehired because of the board of directors. Now, granted, there's another thing I thought was interesting. They started bringing in angles about the board of directors, and because WWE was a publicly traded company at this point, still so it was interesting with all the corporate the corporation or the board of directors and all that stuff. They kind of wrapped some of those in. They were playing with those, and I did like it.
Yeah, I dig it, and it made sense. It
would be interesting to know who the writers were at this point.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, it was still we were obviously dealing with Vince McMahon still. At the end of the day, thumbs up or thumbs downing everything, and this was definitely the start. I think this is the start of where people were definitely realizing he's starting to lose touch. And I think Triple H was actually starting to have his opinions heard.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm sure him and Stephanie were involved in the decisions of the angles and the storylines.
Yeah, probably with the authority stuff, I'd say so.
Certainly. Because
they were involved in it.
Because everybody knew he was going to be taking over eventually. We all knew at some point.
Yeah, at some point. I didn't actually think it would be as soon as it has been. But I think you're right. I think this felt almost like a mix of a end of his time, outdated Vince McMahon creative idea, and a mix of that and a Triple H idea. Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's also why some of it seems a little disjointed, and it just the flow of everything was just
it felt like two people like coming up with an idea and then pulling and shoving.
The match between the two guys. It's Randy Orton and Big Show. Like Big Show was in a pretty it was really in good shape.
He's in good shape, yeah.
This wasn't his return when he was in like super svelte, like
no, not like epic shape.
400 like dude was like 380 at the end there.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. But Big Show was still going strong. He was still big and mean, and he had that whole angle with the Authority using him to like knock people out because he needed his paycheck for whatever reason.
Yeah.
This, that, the other. Like, couldn't be fired. It was a good mental manipulation story angle, and he got some vindicate. Big Show owned Randy. He would have, he would have won without the interruption.
Yeah, the
interruption
Authority. By the Authority. Yeah.
It was a distraction. It was not physical interference.
Well, there's another little tidbit here which I remembered after this match happened, and it was exactly 1 year after this event at Survivor Series, the year after, and in the classic 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. It was kind of crazy because it's a year later and we almost had exactly the same storyline going on. We had Team Cena versus Team Authority, and in that match, Big Show was part of John Cena's team, and in that match, he turns on John Cena and joins the Authority.
Again.
Yeah.
Wait.
What?
No, wait. Team Cena. No, it says Team Cena defeated them.
Yeah, they did, but he still joined the Authority earlier in the match. He was part of John Cena's team. He knocks out John Cena and then walks out, shakes Triple H's hand, and leaves.
Oh right. He heel turned mid-match.
Heel turned mid-match and joined the Authority, yeah.
And joined the Authority, but he didn't join the Authority's side of the match.
No, not the match, but he left.
He just knocked out John Cena and got himself counted out, I guess, or something.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. Yeah.
So that he was eliminated. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe we'll revisit that one another time, another year.
Yeah. But
we'd only have to do this podcast for 20 more years. This was a 27. Well, wait. No, we'd have to do this podcast for 35 more years.
Yeah.
If we just review Survivor Series previously.
But then by that point, we're going to have another 35.
Well, we'd be doing each year's when it happens.
Oh yeah.
These are the reviews.
Right.
These are the review reviews.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
We may go, we may not get to every single one. I guess that's really just
probably
the case.
not. I mean, I'm not going to, we won't actually. I'm not going to.
Yeah, we won't. We probably won't.
Won't.
It's pretty likely we won't be able to review every single WWE pay-per-view
unless we dedicate like half the year to reviewing Survivor Series.
We would have to be recording like 2
would be the first ever Survivor Series themed podcast.
We're just going to review Survivor Series until
we run out. Can you imagine?
Anyway, okay.
So we're at the end of this pay-per-view.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's the end of the pay-per-view. What was the deal?
The very first review that I've done of any pay-per-view where I've actually finished the pay-per-view and gone, oh, that wasn't great.
It's over.
That wasn't great.
That really wasn't great. Yeah, this really wasn't great. I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna just bullshit and say it wasn't. Like everybody, it's universally considered pretty bad, and it was.
Yeah, it was not great.
It was pretty bad.
And
what's with the face-off at the end? What was with the John Cena?
So I don't know what. I mean, it was kind of basically, really, it was just to force the unification of the titles. The month after was TLC, and they had their TLC match where the title was unified.
Oh, that's what. Okay, that was the lead up to the unification
did make sense.
Match.
Although, again, that could have just happened on fucking Raw. But anyway.
Why did they? Well, so they did. They had the conversation start on the pay-per-view so that they could end the pay-per-view with John Cena in the ring.
Yeah.
Like that's the Vince McMahon bullshit right there. That's the Hogan must pose.
Yeah.
At the end of the match, it really is.
That's Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania fucking 9.
Yeah, that's
winning the title of fucking Yokozuna after the anyway.
Because the bad guys lost at the end of the pay-per-view, so let's leave the fans happy with something. We'll just give them John Cena to come out at the end of the match and what's this about?
Yeah.
And I mean, no, that should have been awesome. Like, that should have been, what the fuck is up? Why is the Authority talking to John Cena? And what's this whole thing about? But it was really just like, well, man, what was up with that? Okay. At the time, but it fell flat at the time too.
It did. And so here's the deal. Like, I mean, I'm sure like,
they should have just announced the unification match at the end of the pay-per-view. That would have actually been a good way to end it.
Yeah.
They could have announced the unification at the end or something.
Every time I watch these old pay-per-views or PLEs, like, obviously you do tend to like compare what you've watched to the context of today.
Sure.
And like, with really old pay-per-views, it's more of the context of where pro wrestling is now, because we watched a pay-per-view from like 1990. When was that pay-per-view you watched the other week?
That was 91.
91.
I think.
We watched a pay-per-view from 1991 the other day, and like, you kind of compare that to the context of modern day wrestling. But this one, I more compared to the context of modern day WWE, because to see how far and where we've come from then, with the women's division being completely, well, it's gone from whatever the hell that was to like main eventing WrestleMania to being like
real matches
week in, week out, some of the best matches on Raw or SmackDown or monthly PLEs, or having people like Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley who are like mainstay household names and like some of the biggest stars they have right now. And not only that, I mean, but really, sorry, how'd it go on?
Oh no, I mean it really comes from the turn of stop treating the female talent as just eye candy that rolls around. Like, I mean, there was still a very overabundance of let's focus on how they look and not how they wrestle.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And like we have a Stephanie McMahon to thank a lot for that, because she was a big proponent for it backstage.
We really do, and that should be notified. That should be noted. Like, she really did, once she had the ability to make the change,
to speak up a little bit. Yeah.
Shout out to Progress.
But outside of the women's division, it's just like, one thing I did put in my notes is that, I'm 2/3 of the way through this week's Raw, and like, while it's an episode Raw, and they obviously are more story driven, you can look at any PLE from this year, and we were saying recently how every PLE this year has been absolutely incredible. And like, I just watched an episode of, I'm partway through an episode of Raw, and I'm like, everything feels way more chaotic, way more unpredictable. Like, you never know what's coming at each turn, and it's always. But the writing is really well done, and nothing's missed, and everything is. They make sure
the pieces actually fit
together.
They're logical. Like this is, it goes back to that the illogical reasoning.
Yeah,
I just don't buy. Like, it's an instant turnoff.
I feel like a story has been written, and then they'll go like, cool, this is the story, and we're going to tell this story over the next 2 months, and then they just stick to the script. Whereas I think before, it was like, we're going to write the script this week, and then next week we're going to rewrite the script and see where we go from there.
Or they've been doing really good at not just dropping storylines.
Right.
Things.
Yeah, they have.
They at least let them conclude.
Yeah. That's true.
And
that's very true.
And then move on.
Yeah, if something just doesn't work, they're like, okay, right, but maybe this won't go on for 3 months. Maybe we'll end it now early, but we'll at least end it. We'll actually give it and put a bow on it. As shitty as the bow might look, we'll just put a bow on it.
Or I am always a fan. I'm always a fan of, if the angle doesn't work, fake an injury. And fake an injury, give them a couple weeks off, and then you can just have them show back up again.
Right.
A little freshen up.
And I guess, like, this pay-per-view made me really realize, like,
Here, wait, hold that thought for just a minute. real quick. I'll be right back. I'm
Okay.
gonna edit this. I got to take a bathroom break.
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I realized it midway through, like last 25 minutes. So hold on. We'll cut it out. Or hey, say some things.
Oh man, here I am, just me, little me by myself. What do I say here? I don't know what to say. You just get left by yourself, and you're just here talking to yourself. I'm really looking forward actually to doing the recap episode of the year at the end of this year, which I'm sure we will get around to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say this right now. I'd say like the very last episode of this year, I reckon will be like a recap of the year episode, like our favorite moments, favorite matches, and best upcomer and shit like that. And I think our first episode of the year next year should be our long-awaited rules episode. I think me and Ralph have mentioned this fucking episode every single week of the podcast since it started. And basically, we want to look at the rules of the WWE, all the weird rules of like, I can't think of any right now. But you know how rules in the WWE are just fucking made up on the spot. But some of them are just like they're rules because like in the WWE universe they just make sense. Like referees. We were saying the other week how like they're running to the ring because another referee's been knocked out, and surely the other referee should come to the ring and be like, I saw the referee get knocked out, so there, fuck you, and like you lose. But but in fact, they could run to the ring and see someone cheat, but by the time in the ring, it's like that's where the rules. I guess the rules would state like once they're in the ring, then they would win, right?
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah.
Wait.
Hi.
Oh wait. What's happened? Oh, what's happened? Wait, were you talking about rules?
Yeah. Well, so
upcoming rules
I
episode?
just made some executive decisions while you were gone there.
Okay.
So excellent. I said that the very last episode of this year should be our like 2023 recap, just like looking back on the year and everything like that. And
I like that
because it's kind of an obvious thing to do. But I think the first episode of 2024 should be our long-awaited rules episode.
Yes, I approve of this executive decision.
Yeah, I think it's time.
We need to put it on the calendar. We need to mark it as
and also figure out how the fuck we're gonna do that as well.
Well, yeah, because we've got to write out all these rules that we need to talk about. So
yeah,
you and I are gonna definitely have to sit down. You know what? Why don't we? Do you want to even go one step further? Do you want to record it on? Do you want to try to record it on January 1st? It's a Monday.
Yeah, we can do. I don't think I'm doing.
You know what? Actually, no. New Year's Eve. I might be busy New Year's Eve. Maybe New Year's. Why don't we stick to Tuesday? Why don't we even stick to our normal Tuesdays?
What?
Why don't we play it by ear? That's a long ways away.
Yeah, that's a long way away. Yeah,
that's a long ways away. But I'm putting it on
from now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm putting it on the calendar now, though.
I think what I was saying before you left is just like this PLE or pay-per-view, like in particular, has really made me realize that, Vince McMahon was really starting to lose touch, I think, around this period.
Yeah.
And really starting to lose control and really starting to... He had his moments to shine. He definitely had his moments. But like it's like I feel like now every week on Raw and SmackDown it's a well-rounded show where every segment is giving has some shine. I also feel like I'm watching Raw this week and there's so many young people being given showcase that you like.
Yeah,
like we've had the Creed brothers the last few weeks like getting really big wins, and I don't know, it just feels. It's not the same repeated thing every week. It's definitely like it feels fresh every week and everyone's getting their chance to shine. No one feels like they're more important than anyone else. Of course, the main eventer, yeah, but no one feels more important by management than anyone else. Does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah, and certainly I think one, there's definitely the writing is so much better. Hands down, the writing is so much better. But I also think it's, be honest, we all know that it is partially the benefit of AEW is that competition always breeds better results.
100%. Yeah.
And I think that this is 2013, and there was no other competition. There was no anyone close. I mean, Ring of Honor was doing Ring of Honor stuff, and TNA was doing TNA stuff. Everybody that was doing stuff was doing stuff, but they were still such a large division between where TNA and Ring of Honor were in comparatively.
Oh yeah. They were nowhere near. They were
nowhere near. They were just nowhere near.
Yeah.
And it certainly shows. It certainly shows that they didn't have a fire underneath them at this point.
For sure.
Because it's Survivor Series. Survivor Series is one of the big four. It certainly didn't feel like a big anything.
You're right.
It felt
like
a big disappointment.
For a pay-per-view that is considered one of the big four, it did not have that vibe at all. And if you go back to this time, the only event every year that felt big was WrestleMania. If you look at now, like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and Crown Jewel, and oh, Jesus.
Oh, bless you.
Jeez. And SummerSlam are all held in like stadiums now.
Yeah. You know what else? This was also the era where they were really oversaturating because they had like 14 or so PLE. The amount of the PLE.
I do remember that period where like PLEs were like 2 weeks go by, you have another one already.
In 2023, 1, 2. Let's see. There was Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, Extreme Rules, Payback, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Night of Champions, Battleground, Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series, TLC.
Wait. This is 2013, right?
This is 2013. Okay, so there were 10. There were 12. There was one every month. But it was still like, I don't know. There was one point there was 2 in 1 month. There was Battleground and Hell in a Cell were both in October.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then September. Yeah. Oh, there was a bigger gap between.
Anyway,
bottom line is
still November 24th was Survivor Series, and TLC was December 15th. We're literally talking like 3 weeks later. It's too near.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They were too close. That everything. That's why another reason why all that stuff seemed rushed. Anyway, that's pretty much it for Survivor Series 2023. I don't even want to harp on it anymore because there's not much else to say. Randy Orton did win that match. He did win that match. Yeah. Oh, man.
But definitely of all the reviews we've done, definitely one of the most lackluster ones that we've ever.
The least interested one. The biggest takeaway there was this is the beginning. But again, let's rewind it back. For as lull as it was, this time frame was the birth of the Shield and Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins as our two top stars, and a decade later, absolutely. And a decade later, and for the past several years, it's been Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns on top. So the takeaway of this is, it was pretty bad, but it was really leading into some extremely good shit because we get the New Day like 2 or 3 months later, or no, a couple months later, into next year. New Day's formed in 2014. Yeah, there's a lot of good shit that starts coming after this.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
So it ain't all. It was a bad pay-per-view, but it's a good time.
It's just one of those times in wrestling where it was just a lull,
Yeah, it certainly was a lull.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
And that was a lull in itself, right there.
That was a lull in itself. Sorry, I was already started looking at like Royal Rumble and shit for next year. I got ahead of myself. Anyway, there it is. There's our recap of Survivor Series 2013. What do we do next week?
Next week we have we're doing the War Games. Is it Full Brawl? Full Brawl. Let me find out. Hold on. Full Brawl 1990.
It's Fall Brawl. Fall Brawl.
Yeah, Full Brawl 1993 is the event.
1993. So because we're right in on the decade mark.
We're going back.
So we're going back to the 90s.
Yeah, going back 30 years.
People, listeners of this podcast.
And I'm really looking forward to this because there are some doozies right here.
Yeah, let me check this. Or why don't you give us a preview of what we've got on the card?
We've got Lord Steven Regal versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the WCW World Television Championship. We've got Charlie Norris versus Big Sky.
Who?
I don't know neither of those people. Too Cold Scorpio versus Marcus Bagwell. Sorry, Too Cold Scorpio and Marcus Bagwell versus the Equalizer and Paul Orndorff in a tag team match. We've got Ice Train versus Shanghai Pierce. Again, nope, no idea.
Nope.
We've got the Nasty Boys versus Arn Anderson and Paul Roma for the WCW World Tag Team Championships. We've got Cactus Jack versus Yoshi Kwan in a singles match. We've got Rick Rude versus Ric Flair. Rick versus Rick.
Ooh.
For the WCW International World Heavyweight Championship. Now, there is some interesting shit to go into with the world title, which I'll go into next week. I'll explain that. And then in the War Games, War Games match, we have...
There.
We have Sting, Davey Boy Smith, obviously the British Bulldog, Dustin Rhodes, and the Shockmaster.
Yes!
Versus Sid Vicious, Vader, Harlem and Harlem Heat.
I can't believe we get to review the one and only Shockmaster match. I believe it's the one and only one, right?
No, I don't. Hold on a second here.
I'm pretty sure they killed that character like when he fell through the paper and lost his sparkly his glittery stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, so this is his debut. We'll get into it. We'll do a bit of research during the week and going up to this because it looks like this is his debut match. So, but apparently what they did with his character is he basically turned his gimmick into being a bit of a klutz. So
they did try to salvage that and it didn't work.
So yeah. That's what we got next week, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I might even start watching it tonight.
I may do the same.
Yeah, I need to finish watching Raw first, but yeah.
I'm gonna finish watching Raw. I got the main. Yeah, got the main event. I may spend some time killing some more demons in Diablo 4. It's the only video game I've been playing. It has nothing to do with punks or wrestling, it's marginally has to do with D&D because Diablo isn't in the D&D world, but yeah, I'm only on Diablo 4 because I've got an Xbox and Baldur's Gate 3 isn't out on Xbox, and even if it was, probably not going to get it because I don't have time to invest in another game that's going to suck all my time.
That's fair. Diablo 4 I haven't played a game in fucking ages.
I haven't until I started with Diablo. It was actually Bradley actually recommended it. He said I'd like it, which I do. And that's it. It's the only game I'm actually playing. At the moment.
Fair.
So that's my little tidbit, little inside baseball on R.W. Hellborn's downtime activities when I'm not doing all the other things that are uptime activities.
Uptime.
Like trying to figure out how we wrap up this podcast. Oh, did we plug? Oh, we plugged the Instagram at Punks Talk Wrestling on Instagram. We did that. We also do have a Patreon at punks.talk.wrestling. No. It's Punk's Talk Wrestling on Patreon too. It's the TikTok with nothing on it. It's our empty TikTok that is punks.talk.wrestling on TikTok. It's empty because I haven't put anything up there yet. I'm just waiting for anyone. I'm just waiting for anyone.
Just one
comment.
Of you. Just one.
But that's probably that's probably the absolute wrong way of doing it, because what we need is to post it onto TikTok to get people to listen. Yeah. I'm doing things wrong. We're realizing this in real time.
We're holding this empty wrong. TikTok account at ransom.
Yes,
for nothing.
We will not post anything on our TikTok account that no one is following
until you follow us. So you got to follow this
gonna work
this thing with no content.
Once you say it out loud, you realize how, man, that really is completely back-assward. Yeah. Probably why we're not doing ourselves any. But we're also, we're not really trying very hard at this point. Let's be perfectly honest. We are doing this for fun.
Hell yeah, we are.
We are 100% just enjoying ourselves, and we haven't really taken the time to invest in all of the other media platforms because,
we got jobs, man. We got jobs. We got things to do.
We got bills
to pay.
We got other things to do. And at the end of the day, we'll get to it. And then once we get to it, people will start liking it more. And then they'll maybe start paying us. And then this will be our job. And then we'll have to do it because it'll actually be our job. But I'm not,
right.
But,
right now, I'm just having fun, chatting wrestling.
Just chatting wrestling with my friends.
With my buddy.
My buddy. Yeah. Wow. Fell apart. That's it. All right. That's it.
That was it just then.